What's up, guys? My name is Brock. You're watching The Modest Man, and today we're talking about how to choose the perfect wedding ring. Proposing to your girlfriend or boyfriend is probably one of the most nerve-wracking experiences that any guy will go through. And most guys spend a fair amount of time obsessing over which engagement ring to choose. And they do a lot of research, a lot of hours spent online, maybe going to local jewelry stores, which usually involves high-pressure salespeople trying to convince you to spend more money than you wanted to. But despite all the time you spend trying to find the perfect ring for your future fiance, most guys don't spend much time figuring out which ring they should buy. And that's why most guys end up with that simple gold plain wedding band. And there is nothing wrong with that. In fact, I wear a kind of classic wedding band. But even if you wear something that's simple, it's important to make sure that it's well fitted and comfortable and suits your style. Speaking of my wedding band, I wear a 4mm platinum, slightly curved, traditional fit wedding band in size 7.5. And if you have no idea what any of that means, by the end of this video, you will. Before we get into it, big thanks to James Allen for sponsoring this video. I will take a sponsor break later in the video to tell you more about James Allen, but for now, all you have to know is the ring I wear is from James Allen. And that's how much I get behind this company. That's how much I endorse them. And I'm proud to have them as a sponsor on this channel. So we'll talk about James Allen in a little bit. For now, let's get into the guide. So first you want to think about what type of band do you want. Now there are a few different types. First you have your classic wedding band. This is your traditional wedding band. It doesn't have any stones or engravings on the outside or any carving. It's timeless, it's traditional, and it's one of the best and most popular choices for men. So next up you have your carved wedding bands, and these can either have beveled edges or different shapes, but they don't have a completely smooth surface like a traditional wedding band. They can also be etched or just have other little design elements that make them a little bit unique. Then you have diamond wedding bands. Now, if you want something a little bit flashier, a diamond band might be the way to go. There's no really specific rules here. It could have one diamond embedded, it could be channel cut with a row of diamonds. If you don't like diamonds, you could go with a synthetic diamond or an alternative like some sort of gemstone in your favorite color like ruby or sapphire. Now, if you do go with a wedding band that has diamonds or gemstones in it, it's probably going to be slightly more expensive, especially if you do diamonds. And the more diamonds it has, the more expensive it'll be. Next up, you have your alternative wedding bands. Now, these are made from non-traditional metals like titanium or cobalt chrome. These definitely have a contemporary look, and I think usually guys who already wear a lot of jewelry will choose something like this versus something more classic. You can also find rings made out of wood or silicone. So let's talk about silicone real quick. Rings made from medical grade silicone are a great choice if you live a very active lifestyle. They fit very securely around your finger. They won't get snagged on anything. They're also a great choice for like food service workers or firefighters. My brother-in-law is a firefighter and he wears a silicone ring because he's not allowed to wear a metal ring. Kind of makes sense if you're running into a burning building, you don't want to have something that can heat up on your finger. Personally, I like having a metal ring, but I wouldn't mind having a silicone like as a backup for certain situations. Speaking of my ring, let's talk a little bit about James Allen. James Allen is best known for their diamond display technology. This is a proprietary technology that displays 70,000 plus certified conflict-free diamonds in 360 degrees high definition, along with hundreds of different settings. You can also shop their huge collection of men's wedding bands using this same 360 HD viewer, and you can call their best-in-class customer service agents with any questions. I actually spoke to one of their agents, Josh, on the phone for over an hour when I was researching for this video, and he patiently answered all of my questions. And I gotta tell you, I learned more about wedding bands from that phone call than I did with multiple trips to local jewelry stores. After that, Sarah from customer service graciously helped me pick the perfect band for me. We went back and forth on email a bunch of times, and I could not be happier with the one that she helped me choose. James Allen offers a lifetime warranty, free resizing, free engraving, free returns in the US, and they're just good people. Before my ring shipped, I got a call from their customer service, and I can't remember the lady's name now, but she was very sweet, and she asked if I wanted an engraving on the inside of my ring. And I hadn't even thought about that. And keep in mind, she didn't know I was doing this video. She didn't know who I was. To her, I was just a normal customer. And it was just very thoughtful of her to ask. And so I said, yes, I want an engraving, but I don't know what to get. And so we talked for a little while, and I ended up getting my wife's name engraved on the inside of my band. And I'm just so happy that she called and offered me that option before shipping the ring. So if you're in the market for an engagement ring or a wedding band, I highly recommend James Allen, and thanks again to them for supporting my work here by sponsoring this video. Let's talk about the different types of materials. Let's be honest here, if you had to pick the perfect metal for your ring, it would probably be adamantium. Unfortunately, this practically indestructible metal alloy only exists in the fictional Marvel universe, at least for now. But you still have plenty of options to choose from. So first up is platinum. Platinum is one of the most popular metals used in rings, which is a bit ironic because it's actually one of the rarest elements found in the Earth's crust. It's a white silver metal, it's durable, sophisticated, it's hypoallergenic, so if you're allergic to like silver or gold, platinum might be a good option. Then you have palladium. Now, palladium is a metal found within the platinum family. So as you might expect, the two metals look and feel pretty much the same. Palladium is a tiny bit lighter, so if you really like that barely there feeling, palladium is a good way to go. Palladium is also typically more affordable than platinum. Then you have white gold. Now this is definitely one of the most popular types of metal for men's wedding bands. So white gold is made with rhodium, which is a soft metal that's found in the palladium family. It can also be plated with like nickel or silver or something else to give it that white gold look. But regardless of what it's plated with, it's always gonna have that bright white color. Now, a white gold ring will fade after about 10 to 15 years, so if you'd like, you can get it replated. And that's one of the other advantages of platinum over white gold. Then you have yellow gold. Now, this is a very classic color. It gives off a soft, pleasant glow. It's noticeable but understated. I think yellow gold is a really good choice, especially if you like other gold accessories like gold watches or necklaces. Yellow gold is a great choice. Note that gold purity is measured in carats. That's carats with a K. Now each carat is 1/24th of a gold portion. So pure gold is 24 karat gold. If you have 14 karat gold, that's 14 parts gold, and then the rest of it is another metal. So it would be 58% gold. But don't assume that pure gold, like 24 karat gold, is better than 14 or 18 karat gold. Once you go lower to like 14 or 18, it's gonna be significantly less expensive and kind of more durable because it has that harder, more durable metal mixed in. Now another option is rose gold. This metal is a mix of gold and copper, usually with a dash of silver. And depending on the exact amounts of each metal, this ring is either gonna have more of a reddish or a pinkish tint. And I get it, not every guy wants a pink ring, but it does create a very distinctive kind of vintage look. Rose gold is really good for some skin tones. My wife has a rose gold ring, and when she was trying on rings, she tried yellow gold, white gold, and rose gold just looked really good with her skin tone. So, you know, don't sleep on rose gold just because it's seen as traditionally kind of feminine. Of course, then you have other materials if you want something a little less traditional, or if you'd like to save a little bit of money, you can look at sterling silver, titanium, or other non-traditional metals. You can even find rings made of wood and silicone. Okay, so we've covered types of rings and materials. Let's look at sizing. There's a difference between ring fit and ring size. If a ring is too big, even just a little bit, it can slide right off your finger, especially if you're swimming or if you're doing dishes or taking a shower. Then again, if it's too small, it can damage your circulation, so you want to find a ring that fits perfectly. So to find your ring size, you can go to a local jewelry store and get measured in person. Most stores are going to do this for free. They're not going to make you buy anything. Another option is to use an online sizing tool like the one at James Allen. This allows you to size your finger from the comfort of your home just using your computer. And then some online jewelry companies like James Allen will actually send you a free ring sizing kit that you can use to find the exact size. And remember, you can always get your ring adjusted for size for that perfect fit after the fact. Now let's talk about width. The width of your band is one of the most important aspects of your ring. You can have a very wide band, you can have a more narrow band, and it's really gonna change the way that it looks on your finger. So for guys, a narrow band is anywhere in like the 3.5 to 5 millimeters wide. The average is probably about 6.5, and then a wider band will be like 8 or 9 millimeters. I wear a 4 millimeter band, which I think is a really good size for my hand and my fingers. There are no hard and fast rules here. You know, I think a lot of jewelry stores will push guys to get wider bands because that's seen as more masculine, but I don't agree with that. You know, I think that you should shop for a band that fits your finger and your hand. So, you know, since I have smaller hands, smaller fingers, I went with a more narrow band, and I think it looks proportionate to my hand, just like I wear a smaller watch that looks proportionate to my wrist. So try on a few bands, see what works for you. And remember, a more narrow band is not less masculine, and it will also be more affordable because it uses less materials. Okay, when it comes to fit, you really have two types of fits. There's your standard traditional fit, and there's your comfort fit. Take mine off here to show you. So I have a traditional fit ring, and then this is a comfort fit. And as you can see, a traditional fit basically has a flat inside, and the comfort fit has a convex shape on the inside. So it basically makes it so the ring slides on and off your finger a little easier. A lot of guys think it's more comfortable to wear. I personally don't see too much of a difference, and I like that the traditional fit sits a little closer to your finger, so the height off your finger is a little shorter. Keep in mind though, you can have a traditional fit or a comfort fit, and that's not going to affect the shape of the outside of your ring. So this is more about how the ring fits and feels on your finger. If you have a bigger ring, like an 8 or 9 millimeter, comfort fit is probably the way to go. If you have a smaller ring, I think it's okay to get a traditional fit. Okay, then finally we have to talk about shape, or the profile of your ring. And this is especially important if you go with a classic wedding band. Now there are a lot of different words to describe the same thing, and it can get a little bit confusing, so I'm gonna break it down really simply. Think of shape or profile as a spectrum. Now on one end of the spectrum, you have flat rings, and on the other end of the spectrum, you have domed rings. So an extreme example would be a high dome ring that's almost like a D shape. So it comes up off your finger in that D shape, and that makes it very tall. So it's gonna sit farther off your finger. You're gonna feel it when you put your fingers together. And a dome shape is kind of a classic traditional fit. It's a little more retro in my opinion. On the other side of the spectrum, you have a totally flat shape, which is very modern and contemporary. But in between domed and flat, there's a ton of middle ground. So you can have slightly curved or slightly flat or slightly domed. And I think that this middle ground is actually a great place to shop, because if you have something like I have, which is just slightly curved, it's just a nice blend of classic and timeless, but also kind of contemporary. For me, the slightly flat profile with a traditional fit is the perfect ring because it's got a very short height. It sits very close to the finger, and it has a nice, just barely there feeling. So I really like the shape and the fit of this ring. So I hope this video helps you choose the perfect wedding band for you. You know, these things are designed to last a lifetime, hopefully. So, you know, I think it makes sense to put in a little bit extra time and really find that one that you're gonna love wearing. If you have any questions about this stuff, please feel free to ask me down in the comment section. I read every comment. Thank you as always for watching, and until next time, stay stylish.